One of the areas that I noticed you didn't mention is crypto. And of course, in the last few months, we've seen the implosion of one of the highest profile startups, FTX, which is the crypto exchange that is accused of losing billions of dollars of customer deposits. What kind of failing did that represent for venture capital?
I think that one in particular, when there's, again, from what I read, I think specifically the part about the fraud, right? The $8 billion that was moved from FTX to the sister company from customer accounts, like that speaks to a lack of controls, a lack of compliance, a lack of oversight. So I think the other learning, which has been written about, right, is that typically, and I know this is true for our firm and most other VCs that I know, when we make an investment, we will join the board of directors or someone from the investment syndicate will. And that was not the case there. And it's not always the case everywhere, but it is true that that is one really important um, diligence and governance mechanism that I think is a failure in that particular case. But to your point about why I didn't mention crypto per se, I think we think about it as sort of blockchain in terms of the underlying technology. And then obviously, cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency exchanges are at the application layer if you think about a software stack. So we still believe strongly in the important potential for blockchain technologies to disrupt certain key existing areas. And we've made investments and we'll continue to make investments, again, dating back to, I believe, 2017. So, for example, we made an investment in a company that did security monitoring and compliance for blockchain transactions. And it was used by financial institutions, government agencies, and others who were trying to make sure that they were being compliant with their cryptocurrency transactions. And that company was acquired a little over a year ago by actually MasterCard, which shows me that the traditional financial players do believe that this is real. And the question is just like, when is it going to be ready? And what are the pieces of infrastructure that we're going to need to have in order to have it be part of the ecosystem? I think, we don't necessarily speculate at sort of the crypto level. But the other thing I think, and I don't know if this is going to be true, but I feel a little bit like right now, the like crypto boom and bust, that cycle that we're in right now. And there have been others. There was one actually in
Yeah.
2017, 28. Um, Reminds me a little bit of the dot com boom and bust, right? Where it was sort of, there were some really large, very public failures at what I'll call the application level, right, layer, right? So a
Hmm.
website like Webvan or eToys, right, that just
Yeah.
imploded, went out of business after being a public company in those cases. But if you just thought, well, that means that this whole dot com internet thing is not real. What it really meant was there are some businesses that don't have good, sustainable, or in some cases, maybe non fraudulent business models. But it didn't mean that the underlying technology, in that case, TCP/IP and connecting computers in the internet, didn't mean that that wasn't still going to grow, right? It was at the infrastructure layer or picks and shovels, if you will. And so during that time, companies like Cisco continued to do well because people still needed firewalls and routers to connect to the internet and connect their different enterprise locations. So I think similarly, even in this time with sort of the crypto boom and bust, I think these infrastructural level type companies that are enablers will continue to kind of be innovating and need. And whenever, now there's obviously the big issue of consumer confidence. When will
Right.
consumers come back? We're really the ones who drove it. But if you're at that layer, you're providing capabilities. You're not placing all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, in terms of one consumer use case or one consumer website. So I think those who are patient, it was, like I said, it was a pretty long, post-dot-com winter, lasted at least 3 years by my personal recollection. It felt like a lot longer. And I think maybe that's what we're in for again, but it doesn't mean that there's not going to be something interesting coming out of the other side of it because
Yeah.
decentralized distributed ledgers and blockchains are very interesting technology for certain types of businesses, be they financially oriented or even other types of businesses. And I think that people are doing a lot of innovation and experimentation at the enterprise level right now.